Bit of a breather by the 600, long overdue. First up, only a long neck to the good of Scottish Trader, who'd worked a bit in the early part. Kilkenny Joe's gone up on the inside, covered by Dusha Zachitsky. Someday, one day, coming away from the fence, just ahead of George and Ernie, then Rivy Mac and Anvil Green, and Hartley Enough is last in the straight. Scottish Trader went straight past, long overdue. Now the baldy face, Dusha Zachitsky, called upon by Pike. Kilkenny Joe, he switches back to the inside with 100 left to go. Kilkenny Joe coming at Dusha Zachitsky. It's Kilkenny Joe, Dusha Zachitsky, Anvil Green. Someday, one day coming. They went to the line. Boy, there's a tighty. Someday, one day got a big dive in the middle. Someday, one day, Kilkenny Joe. Primarily, they're the two in the photo from Dusha Zachitsky or Anvil Green. And it's close for the minor. In behind them, Scottish Trader. Then came Rivy Mac, Hartley Enough, George and Ernie. And dropping out after leading to the corner, long overdue. Great finish. Someday, one day, Chris Parnham spearing through in the middle. Kilkenny Joe looked as though he might have done enough to hold Dusha Zachitsky, but someday, one day, and then on the outside, Anvil Green came at them in the middle. Someday, one day, for the Justin Warwick stable, has got the drive through in 124.5 and will just get a margin here on Kilkenny Joe. And Anvil Green and Dusha Zachitsky disputing that skinny end of the money. Someday, one day, when the numbers come to hand, we'll probably get the verdict. Won't be a great margin. $10 210 it's paid there on tote. Kilkenny Joe 420. As we stand by for placings, first up here, this son of Von Costa de Hero from Pure Excellence, a Rock of Gibraltar mare for J.P. Cheung and H. Welton. Chris Parnham aboard. Chris starting a suspension and then will have surgery. I think it's on his shoulder there that they're going to remove a plate, and he'll be out of action for about 6 weeks or so, Chris. So he's going to make the most of it certainly today before taking that little hiatus. Number 5, Someday, One Day in the centre, has got the judge's nod over Kilkenny Joe, and they're now having another look for third between Dusha Zachitsky down on the inside and Anvil Green. 5-8 and a further photo here after the running of race number 4. So Chris Parnham just getting the best out of Someday, One Day, posting its second victory in 11 starts in a blanket finish between the 4 of them after the running of race number 4. And the judge still having a further look at the photo. Chris going into a suspension and then an operation here to remove a plate from an old injury. Will be out of action for the next 5 or 6 weeks at this stage, but having a really good run at the moment. A dead heat declared for third between Anvil Green and Dusha Zachitsky. It's 5-8, a dead heat between 3 and 4. Margins a nose, a head and a dead heat. Tremendous finish. A nose, a head, a dead heat. Now race 5 is the Dawsonia handicap at 252. Number 1 is out, Erazine. 7 starters. The tote pays that 1-2 divvy only. A great finish, and a diaper covered them really. 4 of them across the line. The heads were bobbing and everywhere, and his Adam McGrary's down there with the connections, including the winning trainer. Let's go to Justin Warwick.
A really nice performance here by Someday, One Day, first up today. Had placed first up before as well, and when it's a blanket finish like that, you always want to be on the horse that's got the momentum, and Chris rode that perfectly.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's probably probably one of the fairer fields he's been in over his time. Just a small bunch of horses with a half a genuine tempo. Drew good, had a perfect ride all the way through, and he's always shown a bit of heart. But there's quite often a couple better than him. So it was nice to be not the bridesmaid today.
Have you had the feeling that this could be a bit of a different prep? As you mentioned, has always been there and abouts, has placed on 5 occasions from the 10 runs and isn't never too far away. Is this the time now that you might start about to string a few together?
I don't know whether he's good enough to string a few together. He runs an honest race more often than not, but quite often there's just a couple better than him. He just sort of lacks that real super turn of foot, but he was in on Saturday and then I pulled him out because I thought it was just too hard a race, and the 1200 after his trial probably was going to be a bit slick. I think on a Wednesday, sort of around that 14 to 1600, not doing any work early, he can be thereabouts.
As you mentioned, has shown toughness before and to race 1,400 metres first up with some nice types in here with some good form lines as well. It is a positive start to the prep.
Yeah, it is, and being fresh helps him. He sort of loses his zip pretty quick. So he's only a little fella, and he's a tricky little horse to train, but very happy to get the money today.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Ta.
There's trainer Justin Warwick. We'll grab Chris Parnham now as well. And Chris, as Darren alluded to there, the last day before suspension and a foot surgery, so nice to go out with a nice winner.
Yeah, hopefully there's a couple more to come, but good to get a winner. I was never really going to get there, but it wasn't until that other horse sort of got near me about the 100 he actually put in, so thankfully that horse did that, otherwise I don't reckon he would have got there.
Not too many have run on today, so were you still confident 200 metres out that you were going to be able to make up that distance?
Oh, I had a lovely run in transit. They ran along pretty hard, and I was pretty happy the way I was sort of able to get into the clear, and when I pulled him out I thought he was going to win, and then I only thought he was going to run third or fourth at the 100 metre mark, but then it was good that he could stick his head out.
Justin alluded to as well a horse that's always wanted that sort of 16 to 18 type of bracket. Can you see with that run getting another win in a Wednesday type of class?
For sure, yeah. He's obviously going to need a bit further, but yeah, he's a bit of a one batter, but he's good enough to win races in this type of grade.
Well, as you said, let's hope this is not the last time we speak today, mate. Congratulations.
Cheers, Adam.
There's Chris Parnham.